Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, and of course, head coach Scott Langer. Coach, a weekend on the road over in Minnesota resulted in, closing out the month of April on Friday night with a 4-1 win. Big night for Clay, for the captain, with a shorthanded breakaway that really seemed to energize the whole team, and certainly him as he continued to have a strong night. What do you take away from Friday night, and how do you feel about the way things went that night? Obviously, the win's good.
Yeah, no, it was big that Gaffney got that goal late in the first period to kind of put some energy into the locker room heading out there in the second, and then obviously in the second we played really well, and we were able to get that shorthanded goal and kind of separate ourselves. But I thought, St. Cloud's a really structured hockey team, and they're not easy to play against. They do a really good job over there, but our guys played hard, and obviously we scored 2 shorthanded goals in that game, which I think obviously is big that our specialty team stepped up and gave us some goal support that we needed.
Yeah. Moving from Friday, obviously, again, off that 4-1 win, you go into the month of May with a 3-2 come-from-behind win. As you talked about, St. Cloud is a very structured team with some speed and a lot of skill on that team. They can be difficult to play against. And, they seem like, everybody, pretty much brings the best game they have against the Wings. But it seems like they have played the Wings strong throughout the season. And I know even in talking with some of their staff that they feel like some of their best games are against us. But, again, first 2 periods really seemed like they were kind of in control, and a penalty shot awarded to Payton Matsui. He scores. Trevor Russell gets his first goal in his 101st game. Some good things happened, and then it seemed like midway through the third, just it all kind of turned around. Your thoughts?
Yeah, the first 2 periods of that game, things just weren't going our way. They were turning pucks over in the neutral zone, and obviously when you give up a goal 3 minutes in, 3.5 minutes in on a breakaway, I think it was the first shot that Seibel seen. That's tough. It deflates your bench a little bit. So, again in the second period we were just okay. We just didn't have the normal energy that you feel on the bench. But third period was a lot different story.
Yep.
I felt from the drop of the puck in the third period it was a one-sided hockey game. Obviously Payton Matsui took over the game. In order to get a penalty shot rewarded, you got to work extremely hard to get that call, and he did. And he got behind their guys, and there's a lot of pressure on that shot. It takes a pretty good athlete to be in that moment and know that the changing of the momentum is all in your hands. And Payton obviously scored that big goal, and from that point on, it was just, I thought our team just played extremely well to get that extra goal. And, we hit a post there, too, with Schneider late in that period, too. But I like the way our guys responded, obviously. We found a way to win a game that, we're on the road for a month and a half, basically.
Yeah.
It gets monotonous a little bit. The way you're eating, the way you're sleeping, the way you're traveling, and you got to give these guys some credit. Great. That's St. Cloud did a good job, and they're a structured hockey team, but we're playing on the road in a different environment, and we found a way to win the game.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when you look at the box score, none of the other stuff is listed in there. So our guys, my hat's off to our guys. Yeah, we didn't have it in the first 2 periods, but we sure had it in the third.
Yeah.
And I thought that was important, and they found a way to win a weekend that was a difficult weekend.
We can get a little further into that here in just a moment, but I wanted to mention Trevor Russell's goal, as I talked about. That was awesome to see him score his first in his 101st game, and I just love the response from the guys on the ice too. They're jumping all over him and stuff. With him, now every skate-out skater on this team has a goal in the score sheet. Have you ever had a team that everybody has scored?
I don't know. I have no idea. I was just happy for Russ. I mean, obviously it's been on his shoulders now for a while. He seems to hit a lot of posts and crossbars, and he just hasn't had the luck. But again, you watch that whole play, and the guy screening the goalie was Payton Matsui. Mm-hmm. And I told Russ he probably should have went and thanked him for that because he did a great job. But it was great for us. It's tough to be a kid playing 101 won hockey games for anybody, and not to have a goal. So he got that one, and everybody was super excited for him. Everybody, the coaching staff, it's awesome to see.
Yeah. Really was. I know I was pretty pumped for him too. I knew he was going to get one before the end of the season. I just knew it. But and obviously, just because it's his first goal, there's a heck of a lot more that he brings to the table in other capacities as well. So it's just awesome to see him kind of get rewarded for that. And actually, I'm going to talk with Payton Matsui here in a little bit about that screen, and just see by the way that the puck went in the back of the net and the way it just billowed out that. Nobody touched that thing, the goaltender did not see that coming.
Well, I don't think Suey would have took credit for it either if he did touch it.
That's true.
I think everybody just wanted him to get that goal and get it out of the way.
That was awesome. Also, I thought Jake Seibel really had some huge saves in the third too, and as we talked about, the energy level for the team, for the building, it just felt like all of a sudden everything just got intense. About 10 minutes on, and again, there were some saves that Seibel made in the third there too. That he really stepped up his game too, I thought, and overall defensively, just as a unit, everybody, it was great to see them as you mentioned, fight through that adversity, and that is where I wanted to lead with my other question, which is about adversity and whether it's a new building, road travel. Maybe it's soft ice. Maybe it's just bust legs. Whatever it might be, this team seems to grow from these experiences and just keeps getting stronger the more that is thrown at them, the more adversity is thrown at them. So my question is really pretty rhetorical. I know the answer, but what does that say about the character of this team, of these players, that it's like no matter what you toss at them, they find a way to overcome it? That's pretty amazing.
We don't accept excuses. We never have. And this group of this leadership team in this locker room, and the group that we have in this locker room I've never heard them utilize an excuse. Even when they're sore and tired and whatever it may be, that they know they're expected to win the game, and they take that approach. And like you look at that Saturday hockey game, it would have been very easy for our guys to just completely shut it down and go out of there, get on the bus, and go home and call it a weekend.
Yeah.
And, it was an 8 o'clock start time, a little unusual, a lot of time in the hotel, but they found a way to win the game. And we've done that all season. Mm-hmm. And it speaks volumes to the character in this locker room. They seem to thrive on some adversity, and they don't really, I don't know if they really believe in it, honestly, just the way they've learned to win games in so many different fashions. So, we have to do what we have to do, and it's the North American Hockey League, and there's going to be some adversity and difficult nights, and if you can win on those difficult nights, you're becoming a better player, you're becoming a better hockey team, and you're becoming a better franchise.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why I brought that up, because it just seems to me like you can see growth, and where some teams, some players, at any level, might accept an excuse or kind of look for a way out or whatever, but it just doesn't seem like it happens with this team, and it's been something that I've noticed and something that's impressive. I'm going to get the players' perspective on this in just a moment, but I wanted to get the coach's take on fan bus coming over to Alexandria. But even without the fan bus, on Friday night, I think there were 8, 10, 12 people there were cheering loud for the Wings. And I know that it means a lot to the players. And again, I'm going to get the players' perspective here in a moment. But does that do something for the coaches as well? Because I even hear it from other like rink staff that'll kind of look around and go, "Geez, you guys travel well." Have you ever been a part of or seen a team that travels as well as this Wings team does as far as the fans go?
Yeah, no, I've never been a part of an organization where the fans are willing to travel 3-4 hours. Or we've seen them up in Cloquet, 6.5-hour drives, and from a coach's point of view, it's great for the players. It's it's always nice to have support and people that care about you, and these people genuinely care about this hockey team, and there's a lot of passion, and I think that goes into the whole thing, like what we're about. I mean, our entire organization from the top to the bottom is it's impressive. There's impressive stuff going on, And it's year after year right now that we're impressively doing things, and the boys in the room, the fans, the ownership, each staff member has completely bought into understanding what Wings hockey is all about, and you hear the things that come out of their mouth, and it's always positive towards Wing hockey, and that's just great to see. But the fans are, we'll take fans anywhere we go. We love having them there, and obviously the support is special.
It's pretty cool to see the players embrace it the way they do too. Like at the end of that game, I saw Seamus Campbell dive into the glass where there were a bunch of Wings fans in the VIP section, and they had cans lined up, and he goes in and dives into the glass, and they all tumble down, and they're all cheering and laughing with him, and so it was like, I don't know, it's cool to see the interaction and stuff like that. It almost seemed like he was saying thanks, like in appreciation for coming, because he was making sure they were included. Anyway, moving on. Standings, Aberdeen clinched, of course, as we know, 95 points. Bismarck has now clinched 60 points. Minot, 53 points in third. The Wilderness right now with 46 points in fourth. They have 2 games in hand. Austin with 44 points, and then St. Cloud with 43 points and 1 game in hand. So it's anybody's fourth place spot, really. Just 3 points separating sixth from fourth, which would be, of course, the final playoff spot, in Austin right there in between. And again, a couple of them have games in hand. So it's really pretty interesting to see how this is all going to shake out as far as the standings go, and who ends up being the Wings' opponent in the first round. That being said, 2 weekends of regular season hockey still. Up next, it's the 21-25 1-3 Wilderness, final road trip of the regular season. I feel like I already know the answer to this, but people ask me, and I'm like, I know that it's not in Langer's chemistry to lay off. But do you rest some guys as these final weekends come along, or do you stay with your foot on the gas?
I think I've never been a big ambassador of resting you guys. I don't understand what that really means. I mean, obviously you want to get a couple guys in, but I mean we have our guys that play, and there's a lot on the line.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's ever won 50 games
Yep.
in the North American League history. So it's a big deal.
And a shortened season too.
In a shortened season, it's a big deal. No one's ever done better than 101 points. It's those things are important to this organization, and I think that our guys would love to go at least have an opportunity to try to meet those records. But I don't know how you can go from rest to turning it on in the first round.
Exactly.
I don't think it's a light switch thing. I think the guys have to be mentally in it. They have to be playing. They have to be competing. It's just like we practice. We start off practice in the beginning of the week, and we go the same intensity throughout the entire week. We don't lay down on Thursday and just go through the motions, because you can't go from that type of play to playing a solid team in the Central Division of the North American Hockey League and expect to be successful.
Yep.
So we would rather cut our ice time down and go at the same rate. So I just I think that even there's guys that don't play every single night that have been going in the lineup and doing a great job, and we'll continue to rotate guys in and out. But when we get on the bus to head to Cloquet, we're going there for one reason, and it's not to hang out and go on vacation. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I figured that's what you would say. I just wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. As you mentioned, 101 points, 49 wins. Those are our North American league records. There's another record on the line, and that it would be the one that Jake Seibel is on the cusp, or could be on the cusp. I should say he is on the cusp, could set that record as well. So, like you said, it means a lot to these players and to this organization. Coach, that's all I've got for you, really. I appreciate you coming on, as always, and letting us kind of pick your brain a little bit, and best of luck against the Wilderness coming up this weekend.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, we'll return with the player portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
How you move matters. Avera Orthopedics helps you move freely and live life to the fullest with innovative treatment options customized to your bone, muscle, and joint needs. Whether you suffer from aches, breaks, tears, or dislocations, turn to the orthopedic team experienced in treating every body.
Welcome back to the second portion of Wings Weekly, and as usual, a player is joining me, and in this case, it's number 14, Payton Matsui of Lakeville, Minnesota. How are you?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Well, Payton, we had you on the show earlier this year, so I'm not going to ask you the traditional stuff about when you started and all of that. I got some other questions here for you that basically are about this team, and some of them are kind of duplicate questions that I asked Coach, but I wanted to get them from a different side, the player's perspective. For one, you're the points leader right now in the North American Hockey League. 26 goals, 34 assists. What is clicking for you, and what's working well? What would you say that some of that success is coming from?
I think the biggest thing is I don't really focus on that. That's not my main focus. My main focus is winning. I want to win, and all that point stuff will come with it. And I think the only thing you control is your effort, your attitude, and just the way you go with life. And I think if you focus on points and that's your main focus, then you're just being selfish and not being a team player.
Yeah. Well, and the team player part is, it was big, obviously, when you've got line mates and stuff and there's chemistry and things are working together as a team as a whole, things are going to be, well, you're going to have success. Things are going to go well. I kind of figured that was going to be the case. The work ethic, which leads into my follow-up question, which has to do with the penalty shot that you were awarded. First of all, walk me through that, because penalty shots are not all that common. Power plays, that's one thing. But when you're awarded a penalty shot and it's all eyes on you, it's the same kind of as a shootout, but yet a little bit different, So what's going through your mind when you realize that you're going to be going 1-0?
Well, I think the first off, it started with either Gaff or Randy. I really don't remember who passed it to me, but I was just, Langer always talks about going up the middle, driving net, so that's what I did, and it ended up getting on my tape, and then I remember getting taken down, and I look up, and the ref's pointing to the center ice, so I literally didn't even look at the bench. I just skated to the blue line. I was in my mind, because what Smack was talking about, the momentum was not going with us at that point, and in my head, I was just man, if I don't score this, what's going to happen? So, I think the biggest thing was, I need to score this. This is a must make. And it ended up going in, so I just kind of had to focus in.
Well, it was interesting because I watched you skate along the far wall and up. And because the ref, at no point did he make the penalty shot signal. So I was going, where's he going? And then I think it was Vita that was coming to the bench and went like that. And I was like, oh. So then, you come back and I see him go put the puck at center ice, and I'm like, wow, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you skate in and get that goal in the back of the net, and you directly come over to the bench, and I remember just watching you yelling at them, let's go, and it was such a huge pendulum swing of emotion and of that momentum, like we were just talking about. And I think, as Coach Langer was just talking about, that your drive to win and stuff, and how you just kind of put that game on your shoulders, and that with that really started something. What was that message when you went to the bench and you're skating by and you're yelling at those guys, and they're right back at you, going, cheering right back and stuff? Could you feel that momentum swing right there?
Well, I think it all starts off with, I wasn't happy with some of the actions that St. Cloud did to our bench, staring down our bench and laughing at us, I think the shift before the penalty shot. So I kind of took it personally, and right after that, I just kind of let my emotions take over, and I just kind of rode that wave.
Yeah, well, it was a defining moment in that game. I really feel because like I said, from that point on, there was a lot more energy in that building and with the team as a whole. Mm-hmm. And of course, you have a one where Russell bangs one off the end boards, and you're able to pick it up and put it in for the third goal there too. So big night for you for sure. I wanted to touch on, and I did with Coach Langer here too, with Trevor Russell's goal, and like I mentioned with Coach, just the way the back of the net moved, you knew that the goaltender did not get a glove on that or anything. It wasn't something that was deflected off of him anyway. And I heard, Coach Langer was the first one who's like, man, that was a heck of a screen that Matsui put on. Talk to me a little bit about the importance of playing down low like that. And that's a perfect example of what can result when you put in that extra work. Because it's not easy to sit down there along that crease. Goalies are hitting on you. You got defensemen pushing on you. It's a lot of work.
Right, yeah, like Langer touched on it. We practice like we play. So in practice, we are always emphasizing get in front of the net, make sure you take the goalie's eyes away. And I think my line, especially this weekend, we did a good job getting to the paint and getting to the net. And it was just one of those where you get in front and it's coming and you get out of the way a little bit so it doesn't hit you, and it went in the back of the net. And I just remember looking at Russ, and he was just so in shock that he was just so excited. And I think the whole team resonated with that. We were just so excited to see him score that one.
It was awesome to see everybody go jumping on him and the
Right.
bench going wild and the coaches with big smiles on their faces. You just see everybody was stoked. And a lot of the fans knew, too, that was a big goal. It was funny because I looked down at Mark Shelley, the St. Cloud broadcaster, and he's kind of looking at me like, what? Why are they freaking out? And I just kind of held up one finger like that's his first. He goes, oh, that's an emotional moment. So it was pretty cool. A lot of fun for Russ to get that first goal and to get some paybacks for all the hard work that he's put in, for sure.
Right.
I wanted to talk with you also a little bit about your family being able to come to a lot of the games, especially in Minnesota, but they've been here a few times too. In your final year in junior hockey, that's got to be kind of special to be able to share that with them and have them be able to be at these games and to be able to, especially when they're in Minnesota, it's not too much of a travel for for a lot of people that we end up having. It seems like a lot of family and stuff that's from over there, but that's got to be special for you to be able to share that with them in your final year.
Yeah, it's definitely special, especially being next year going to Alaska. It's going to be a lot farther, and I think it's kind of funny because my dad says he comes to watch live hockey because he hates hockey TV, and my mom says she comes to see me. So it's a little mixture of both, and I just appreciate how much they've done for me, and it definitely doesn't go unnoticed when I see them up in the stands. And it's just, I've never been homesick once this entire year, so I think them coming a lot brings a lot of into that, and I just definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, I just think it's awesome whenever we get when a player gets a chance. Clay Cosentino's dad was there over in Alexandria for those games and stuff. Just cool to see when the family can be a part of that. Of course, family weekend coming up here the 14th, 15th. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Moving ahead. Well, before we move ahead, let's go back. What so far this year do you think has been the biggest challenge for this team as a whole and as you personally? Are there some obstacles that you've had to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a team, it's just the length of the season itself, making sure that we stay mentally in it and don't get checked out. Because I feel like a lot of teams now, like, I'm not going to say who, but they start to give up or they just want to go home because of summer. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges for us internally. And I think for myself, it's just, I wouldn't say worrying about what others are doing, just, I think mostly just staying healthy. Like I get hit from behind a lot, and not worrying about that, just going along with my day and making sure that I'm giving the max effort I can to the team, because if I'm not, then no one's benefiting from that.
That's a constant challenge. And actually, I was going to ask a follow-up question about staying motivated, which is funny because you just touched on that is actually the challenge, too, is because, and it's been talked about before that a lot of other leagues, collegiately and so on, they're done, and I'm sure there's a lot of teams, that are looking forward to enjoying summer where, the regular season's still going and it's 86 degrees out. So I clearly know what you're talking about there. Okay, I've got a couple of kind of goofy questions here before we get back into hockey. And I know the answer to this one already, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Would you rather be a star on a losing team or ride the bench on a great team that wins all the time?
You could go both ways with this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be on a winning team, so I'd have to go with that one. But also, not playing sucks, so it's kind of a tough question.
It is, and I thought to myself, this is one of those questions where you want to say that you want to be part of a winning team, but yet by the same token, selfishly, like you said, not being able to play sucks. So it's kind of this, oh man.
I'll go with contributing on a winning team, not the star, just doing my part.
That is teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yep.
All right, another goofy question here for you, which I've led up just for anybody listening or watching. I did give you a heads up on this because it's not an easy one, but I'm curious to hear why. I wanted to ask what TV, cartoon, movie, or book character you most closely relate to, or who's someone that you can go, you know what, I can see myself in that role or whatever. What's your answer, and tell me why.
Okay, so when we were in St. Cloud, when we were in condensed rooms, we were watching movies and we were watching The Hunger Games. And so Katniss Everdeen is just the most fresh in my mind. So I'm going to go with her just because, one, sacrificing for her family. I mean, we're all just one big family here, and you just want to do whatever you can for that family to make sure that they're happy, they're safe. And I think the way that she has teamwork, and she doesn't care about herself, she just cares about the end game and what's right and what's wrong. So I think that's what morally I resonate with as well.
Yeah, well, that's, and you know, that the spirit and bravery and all that stuff that she kind of imbibes throughout that in those movies makes a lot of sense.
Right.
There's a lot of great characters or character attributes that she possesses, for sure. Very cool. All right, well, up next, another road trip headed to the wilderness, or to, well, kind of to the wilderness. It's up in the Iron Range, but to play the wilderness in Cloquet. And you know, I always ask guys, what do you do to prepare? How do you guys get ready to make that road trip again? What do you have to do to be successful?
Rinse and repeat. Like, I think do what's been working. Nothing really needs to change. I think the guys this is our last road trip of the season, so we want to end on top, and you want that bus ride to on the way home to be happy. You don't want to sit in silence. That's never fun. So I think just listen to what the coaches have to say, do what they want us to do in practice, and just get the work done.
Yeah. I kind of figured that, but I like that. Rinse and repeat. Good way to put that. All right. Well, Payton, I appreciate you coming on the show and taking some time to kind of, I don't know, like I always say to let fans see under the visor and so on, but in this case it's a little bit different. Getting a chance to see what the mentality of the team and of the players is a little bit. So again, I appreciate you coming on, and best of luck against the Wilderness.
Thank you for having me.
All right, folks, Friday and Saturday, May 7th and 8th, Wings are at the Wilderness. 7:15 puck drop both nights, watching all Wings away games at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Aberdeen, or by logging on to hockeytv.com. Listen to 94.1 The Rock, hubcityradio.com, or The Rock app. Next Wings home games are Friday and Saturday, May 14th and 15th versus the Minot Minotauros. Important upcoming dates: Parents Weekend, May 14th and 15th. And the awards banquet will be May 16th. Buy your tickets now at aberdeenwings.com. First round home playoff games Friday and Saturday, May 21st and 22nd. More information on tickets will be available soon. Corporate night sponsorships are still available for home games throughout the 2020-2021 season and playoffs. And of course, we include the playoffs there because we only have one home game weekend left. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. Don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episode on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Once again, Payton Matsui, thanks so much. And thank all of you for listening and watching. That'll do it for this week's Wings Weekly.